Hello, I'm Eddie Muller, and I welcome you once again to Noir Alley. I am going to kill a man. I don't know his name. I don't know where he lives. I have no idea what he looks like, but I am going to find him and kill him. Those are the opening lines of The Beast Must Die, a landmark in the history of crime fiction, published in 1938. Today, we present a stunning adaptation of the novel, made in Argentina in 1952, under the Spanish title La Bestia debe morir. For many years, it was thought, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, that Claude Chabrol's 1969 film This Man Must Die was the first film version of the famed novel. Now, thanks to the efforts of my Film Noir Foundation, the record can be set straight. You are about to see the true first film version of Nicholas Blake's influential mystery thriller, presented in newly restored condition. The novel was one in a series that Nicholas Blake wrote, featuring fictional detective Nigel Strangeways, an amateur sleuth in the mold of Sherlock Holmes. But Blake did something radical with this narrative. The first half of the book is related in diary form, the chronicle of a grieving man bent on murderous revenge. The second half, which takes place after a major plot twist, follows a more routine course, sorting through an array of suspects and their possible motives. In essence, the book starts as a full-throttle psychological thriller, a genuine noir, before reverting back to a traditional mystery story. In adapting Blake's book, writers Narciso Ibáñez Menta, who is also the star, and Román Viñoly Barreto, the director, flipped the book's structure, pushing the third act to the beginning and then focusing exclusively in flashback on the revenge plot. The character of Nigel Strangeways is sidelined early on. It is a daring decision, one that immediately throws the audience into a frantic and overheated murder drama in which we struggle to find our bearings. But the decision pays off brilliantly once the film turns from a typical detective story into a tour de force of cinematic noir. The main creative force behind the film was its star, Narciso Ibáñez Menta. Born in Andalusian Spain, Ibáñez Menta was a child prodigy, versed in all aspects of the performing arts. Major productions were built around him when he was still a boy. The prime of his career, however, was spent in Argentina, where he specialized in fantasy and horror films, emulating his idol, Lon Chaney. In the Spanish-speaking world, Ibáñez Menta became an icon of cinematic terror, the equivalent of Boris Karloff or Vincent Price. In this film, he gives one of his most compelling, sympathetic performances, underplaying to great effect. Director Román Viñoly Barreto was from Uruguay, where he did extensive stage work in his youth. He and Ibáñez Menta had met in the theater, but when Viñoly Barreto answered the call in 1946 for new directors to work in the growing Argentine movie industry, it seemed inevitable the two close friends would work together on a big-screen project. Ibáñez Menta saw Blake's novel as a perfect vehicle for them both. The female lead is played by Laura Hidalgo, a beauty under exclusive contract to Argentina's Sono Films, which likened her to Hedy Lamarr. You will notice a certain similarity and a couple of prominent differences from her Austrian counterpart. Despite the Hispanic surname, Hidalgo was a Romanian Jew who emigrated to Argentina as a child. This film was early in her career, but she'd already earned enough notoriety and respect to be one of the film's producers. The villain of the piece, and I guarantee you will end up hating his guts, is played by Guillermo Battaglia, a native Argentinian who enjoyed a long career on screen from the late 30s through the 80s. Now, to those unfamiliar with Latin American cinema, a word of caution. Scenes are played hot. Melodrama is not a pejorative term in the Southern Hemisphere, so don't bother chiding the actors for playing it big and broad, especially Battaglia and the actress who portrays his mother, Milagros de la Vega. Overheated is the default temperature for stories of this kind. especially from this era. And the high-strung emotionalism allows Ibáñez Menta, the killer in waiting, to play off the other actors in wonderfully subtle, low-key fashion. The Film Noir Foundation thanks its man in Buenos Aires, Fernando Martín Peña, for introducing us to this film, and its partners at the UCLA Film and Television Archive and the Hollywood Foreign Press Association's Charitable Trust for their collaboration on this gorgeous restoration. Preparate. Les presento La bestia debe morir. The beast must die.